Brooklyn Independent Television.
Hello, welcome to Neighborhood Beat, your passport to Brooklyn. I'm your host, Aaron Watkins. Today we're in Williamsburg and Greenpoint for a look at what's fresh and new. We'll slow it down with healing vibes at Usha Veda Yoga, warm it up with wine, cheese, and art at Brooklyn Oenology. Then we'll chill out, sort through, and listen to some great music at Academy Records Annex before we grab a cup of Get Me Through My Day Please and cool vibes at Milk and Roses on Manhattan Avenue in Greenpoint. Stay tuned. Havemeyer Street in Brooklyn was named for the Havemeyer family that moved here from Germany at the turn of the century. The Havemeyer family found their riches in the sugar trade and built a factory on Williamsburg, South 3rd Street in 1857. Henry Havemeyer later renamed the company Domino's Sugar, and the factory operated until 2004 when its refining operations were terminated. Even in a borough as cool as Brooklyn, everyone needs a respite from the hustle and bustle of city life. So whether you seek healing from a physical injury, peace of mind from an emotional event, or just the calm and relaxation that only deep breathing can deliver, well then you'll find it here at Usha Veda Yoga.
And I'm the owner of Usha Veda Yoga. There are many reasons I decided to open the studio this past May. One of the reasons was the tremendous impact yoga has had on my own life. Another is witnessing the transformation that yoga has had on other people's lives. I wanted to help people contemplate their own deeper wisdom that so often is concealed in the rush of the busyness of their daily lives, and to help people be able to let go of their obsessions and to be able to really focus on doing that, to continue to do that in my own life. At times where, I've been kind of confused and unsure of myself, it really helped me get in touch with myself and find a sense of identity and a sense of clarity. There's a variety of classes offered here at Usha Veda. Kripalu is a gentle class, which is great for people that have injuries or beginners.
We're going to begin class this morning with 3 Om. My name is Jared, I'm a yoga instructor, and I teach gentle Kripalu Yoga here at Usha Veda Yoga Studio. But we help people with neuropathy, sciatica, lower back injuries, people who have headaches, who have sleeplessness. Inhaling. Pain is unavoidable in life. We all have to deal with it. And so yoga, a lot of times when people leave doctors' offices or, the way science, their approach is to pain and healing, people aren't always happy. So that's what yoga is. It bridges that for people, when they leave their doctor's office or they leave the hospital. Yoga therapy is very popular right now. I think a lot of baby boomers are retiring and they're learning that they need to deal with their bodies in a more gentle way with breath. And so it's perfect for that population. I think it's majorly because of them, but it's becoming more popular because people are finding that this is a different way of doing exercise that is not going to hurt them.
I suffer from chronic pain. I have peripheral neuropathy, and I've been suffering from it for over a year. I was walking by one day and saw the announcement that they had Kripalu Yoga, which I knew was gentler, so I thought I'd give it a try. And the class has really been great for helping me deal with my pain. I think when I first started the class, I was on a lot more pain medication than I am now. And the class has also given me confidence to take more yoga classes and do more exercise, which has also been really beneficial for my health and really improved my pain level. I would tell anyone who has an injury to definitely try yoga. It's been the thing that I think has helped me the most out of physical therapy and aqua aerobics and pain medication and massage. I've tried everything, and yoga has definitely been the most helpful thing to me.
Squeezing your shoulders, inhale your arms up, open up your chest, and then exhale, arms come down, right?
I come here because yoga was highly recommended to me by my therapists who were treating me for a pretty acute depression recently, and then I happened upon this class which addressed my depression the most effectively. Jared's class has really helped me let go of my anxiety, and in fact in the first couple of classes at the end, just tears would roll down my face just out of a relief. It just helps you breathe.
We have Ashtanga Mysore, which is a practice where people learn at their own pace, which can continue to become a very advanced practice.
Ashtanga means 8 limbs, and Ashtanga Yoga is a set sequence of poses with a flowing vinyasa in between each pose, and the student is taught pose by pose the sequence, so they're not learning the entire sequence at once. They learn the next pose when they're ready for it, so we're really able to work with the student at his or her own pace. Well, we believe that most illness stems from improper digestion. So we get basically food stuck in the system, it's not passing through, and it creates disease. And so mainly what the yoga does is help fuel that digestion and help get that food out. It also increases circulation and gets blood and oxygen pumping through the body correctly, and that's going to heal the basis of almost any disease that springs up here. The first primary series of Ashtanga Yoga, the first sequence of poses, which is the series most people learn and practice, is called Yoga Chikitsa, and it's yoga therapy. It's meant to cleanse, purify the body step by step and help heal people.
Greenpoint was the first place that I truly felt at home, that I knew I wanted to stay, that I wanted to put roots down and continue to be a part of this community. And practicing yoga, I was traveling quite a distance to practice, and I wanted to open something here for people's convenience, but also to be able to give them something that I thought would be valuable to the community. The population is very open-minded, very genuine. There's a mix of people in this neighborhood, and everybody seems to get along so well. I just plan to enjoy watching the studio grow, and it's been so touching to hear how much it's affected so many people's lives, and I just hope to be able to continue to have that positive effect on the people in this neighborhood.
Peter Luger's Steakhouse is a fixture in the Williamsburg community since 1887, when it originally opened as Charles Luger's Cafe, Billiards, and Bowling Alley. Originally located at Driggs and South 8th Street, it moved to its present location here at 178 Broadway in 1904. The key to their success? Tradition. Today, Peter Luger is still a family-run business whose selection of beef is chosen by family members only. A sip of your favorite crushed grape, a bite of artisanal cheese, great ambiance, and a fantastic night with people who turn out to be your neighbors. All this and more at Brooklyn Oenology, a place that offers original New York State wines and a setting for local artists to present their inspired label art.
Well, I'm Allie Shaper, and the founder and owner winemaker for Brooklyn Oenology. We're here in Williamsburg at the corner of Wythe Avenue and North 3rd Street in the Brooklyn Oenology tasting room.
What are you ladies thinking today?
I think we're going to try for the Flight of Whites.
Perfect. I'm something of a former geek. I love sciences and arts as well, and so Brooklyn Oenology, which is the art and science of wine, not only spoke to myself personally, but what I wanted to do with the company, and the nature of winemaking. You know, winemaking is part playing with microbiology and chemistry, and it's another part very intuitive and visceral, and really relying on your senses and your sense of creativity. To me, that was the perfect word for it. And plus I wanted to do interesting things with the grapes that I'm using, and so I wanted to kind of evoke the craftsmanship.
So this is the 2009 Riesling from the Finger Lake. It's one of my favorites. I think it's the Riesling that converts non-Riesling lovers into Riesling lovers.
I'm a Riesling lover.
Yeah.
Well, at the time I was living here, and one day I had this epiphany and was admiring the buildings and these industrial spaces. It suddenly occurred to me, holy smokes, this is a completely different place than it was maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And it used to be heavily industrial, but all these places, all these warehouses and factories are being reborn into a new industry, an artistic industry. And I was working in the wine business at the time, and suddenly realized, wow, I could make my own wines here. And I'd been kind of trying to roll around an idea to open up my own winery, and boom, it was like a brick hitting me over the head.
We just got this in. We're very excited about it. It's all green apples and citrus.
I like it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The big concept behind Brooklyn Oenology was to work with Brooklyn artists. The idea for the company was to be not just another wine, but to integrate with the community in which I was going to base the business. So I collaborate with local Brooklyn artists to use their artworks on the labels. We've been doing this for the past 4 vintages. So we sent out a call for artists. We got nearly 100 submissions, and we juried it down to 5 artists. The artworks that we have up here tonight are those 5 artworks, and so we're inviting everybody to come down and take a look at them and decide which one's their favorite. We said, let's have people pick it, and the democratic vote chooses the next label artist. So every bottle of wine that we produce features a Brooklyn artist on its label. And so each bottle is done by a different artist, and when we switch the vintage of the wines, then we change up all the artists, and so we've designed all the labels to peel off the bottle. Each label is like a limited edition label because of that, because they only last for 1 vintage.
We have one of my recent paintings. It's called Red Orb, and it is a pattern of waves. It's a sort of a energy, sort of heat, warmth, and also a cooling sensation at the same time. Art and wine together. In the neighborhood, there's such strong elements already. It encapsulates the whole sort of feeling that is going on in Williamsburg, I think.
Fantastic. Yeah, this is truly the last of it now.
We have here the 2006 Brooklyn Oenology Merlot, all North Fork Long Island juice. Quite a bit darker and more brooding than the upcoming Sauvignon Blanc, but both delicious wines in their own right. We are insanely obsessed with wine. We drink wine, we talk about wine, we study wine, we love wine, we make wine, we sell wine, and that fits well within like the artisanal food movement. As you know, going anywhere in Brooklyn, this is also a huge mecca for contemporary art. There's lots of artists. We have this really awesome mutually beneficial relationship where we find really good artists that match with the wines, and we'll feature them on the label, and that'll give them a marketing angle that they can't get anywhere else.
And we're going to pour a little. So Vidal Blanc is a white wine grape, and you can see it's got a really nice pale golden color, and it has aromas of pineapples and citrus, a little green apple, even a little bit of a flowery aroma. So one thing we have that's really a lot of fun is our special 4-pack sampler. And we've got a bunch of these created that you can just pick up to take to go, and they generally retail for under $100. Or you can create your own 4-pack, and we've got our own special little I Drink Brooklyn bag. We have Z crackers, also made in Brooklyn, really delicious, lots of whole grains and really tasty. We've got Morris Kitchen ginger syrup, great for making your own ginger ale at home. We have the Brooklyn salsas. They come in 6 different flavors named after each of the boroughs. And we also have some chocolates from a brand new producer called Raka. And You can find all of these things here in the tasting room and enjoy them while you're visiting us, or take them home to go. Hey guys, how are you tonight? Good, good. What are you guys working on so far here? So the benefits of the wine club are automatically, as a club member, those wines that you get shipped to you, you have a 10% discount on those wines. And then if you come to the tasting room to buy wine, you have an automatic 10% discount on the wines. And also, depending on the level of the club, you can get a free wine tasting when you come in, invitations to special events, and you'll find out about sales that we have ahead of the general public. Probably in the future, we'll start doing things like tours with the winemakers out to wine country and so on.
For those old enough to remember or young enough to appreciate the magic of music played on vinyl, welcome to Academy Records Annex, Brooklyn's answer to lovers of old school and hard to find jams of any genre. Viva la vinyl!
My name is Mike Davis, and I'm the owner of Academy Records here, the store in Brooklyn. Well, Academy Records goes back a long way. It started as a bookstore on 18th Street in Manhattan, and they sort of had a little record section in the back because a lot of times when they buy book collections, people want to sell their records also. And the records started to grow, and eventually they opened a store next door to the bookstore, and eventually I got the idea to start a separate store just for the records. And talked to my boss, and we became partners and opened a store originally on East 10th Street in the East Village. And in 2004, I've been living in this neighborhood in Williamsburg, Greenpoint since the early 90s, and anyone here who's lived here can tell you it's changed a lot. And just had the idea to open a record store here because there wasn't one really devoted just to records at the time. This is Tigger the Attack Cat. He inspects all customers as they walk in the door. He's a tough monitor. This is our small CD section. This is about as big as it's ever going to get. I thought that records had enough qualities of their own that they would never really go away entirely, and that there would always be a niche or demand for them. Obviously there's people that just dispensed with all physical formats altogether. The fact that, a digital MP3 or people have everything in their iPod, they don't have anything physical attached to the music, and I think people do sort of miss that at some point. And this is the listening station, a very popular part of the store. Sometimes there's quite a bit of a line here. I've thought about getting more turntables, but I think two is enough. But yeah, if you come here on a Saturday, sometimes you can wait about 10 or 15 minutes to get a turn on here. Records are a funny commodity because they go from anywhere from 50 cents to thousands of dollars. Between what we have in the bins here, what we have in the back room that we're going through, what we have in storage in the basement, I'd say anywhere between 50 and 150,000, depending on the time. There's very few things that I don't have. In fact, I really can't think of any single genre I don't have. When I started having a store, rock records were not so much in demand. I mean, they were, but the sort of staple classic rocks like Beatles, Led Zeppelin, The Who. You could sell those records, but I think people went through a period where they're sort of tired of those bands and hearing them all the time. But now, as the years have gone by, there's sort of a whole new generation, and it's, well, I guess it's not, it's a little surprising, I'd say, that, kids in their 20s, these bands had their heyday before they were born, and they're very, very much interested in them. It's amazing what people over the years have come up with for cover designs. I think it gives them a little more of a connection to the music. If you're just talking about like an iPod, the music's just coming like out of nowhere, and in a sense you have nothing to go along with it. When you look at like a classic record cover, like a, I don't know, Marvin Gaye or a Beatles record or something like that, and you look at the artist and there's some artwork and maybe there's some words from them or you can read the lyrics, it makes the music like much bigger and it gives you a much deeper connection to it. And as our lives become more and more digital and more, computer oriented, a lot of things have less and less tangible correlation or tangible aspect to them. And I think people aren't quite ready for that. I don't know if people are ready to live their whole lives in cyberspace just yet. A well-recorded, well-produced, mastered record is substantially better sounding than a CD or especially an MP3. I don't really have a favorite record. It's just too hard. I lived in this neighborhood for a long time and watched it change. Went back in the early 90s, and this neighborhood was completely different. There would be like hookers and scary guys hanging out, and all these other side streets had nothing on them. This is sort of a growing, active community. There's people moving here all the time. So it's a sort of ever-changing kind of growing community, even though there is the sort of Williamsburg hipster cliche that's not really, doesn't really describe a lot of people here. It makes it fun, and it makes it possible to have a store that offers all kinds of stuff because there's going to be all kinds of customers coming in the door. And then here we have like the jazz section, the soul section. We're moving to the used record part of the store, which is the bulk of the records here. But we have a pretty big new section. The used vinyl has always been and will always be the main focus here. On a good day, we probably get a few hundred people coming through here. I get people in their 60s looking for classical music. I get people in their 50s looking for classic rock. I get people in their 20s looking for the new bands coming out. I hope to get the idea that their records are still alive, that they're still available, that and that there's a whole huge world of music that no matter how knowledgeable, that there's things you don't know about and that they're just available. You can just walk in and find out about them. You don't necessarily have to go on a big quest or have a big research project going to discover it. That there is all kinds of music that they don't know that they would love if they got a chance to check it out. And I like to think of this store as a chance to check it out. This store is located at 96 North 6th Street in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, between Barry and Wythe. It's been great to show you around the store. Thanks for coming by.
It's a coffee shop, wine bar, and some think of it as an ultra-cool library where you can borrow a book while feasting on fresh Italian sandwiches and baked goods. It's many things to many people. It's milk and roses.
My name is Tommaso Mazzoni, owner of Milk and Roses. We did call it Milk and Roses because we could not find an agreement with other names. So Milk gives an idea about us serving coffees, and Roses because we have a rose garden in the back. A typical day starts at 7 a.m. We basically serve coffee, cappuccino, pastries, and we slowly go to the night operations where we do have wine and beer, and basically always in an informal setting. We try to keep a low-key environment for people. The idea was to have a comfortable place for people and to let them try Italian gourmet food and items in relax, basically, without a fancy setup. We do offer on our menu gourmet cheeses, basically imported from Italy, and also meats. Any kind of meat that can be imported, we have it, and if not, is made in this country with Italian specifications. We tend to have a younger crowd, usually, very prepared, so very, how do you say, demanding about coffee needs. Wine's a touch less, I would say. They are more willing to experience. Coffee, they already know exactly what they want and how they want it to be. So proposing the Italian-style coffee, it's like a novelty.
My name is Oliver Melendez, and I am a barista at Milk and Roses. Our most popular items would be the croissants and our coffees in the mornings. Best part of my day would be interacting with people every time a customer comes in. We end up talking for at least 2-3 minutes, meanwhile make their coffee.
My name is Peter Lucursi, and I'm here to do some work and enjoy some coffee at Milk and Roses. It's the only place where you can get sort of genuine Italian fare, and it's, sort of from morning to night. You have breakfast, you have lunch and dinner, and then at night, you know, after drinking coffee all day, you can have a nice glass of wine. The atmosphere, I think, is perfect because whether you want to sort of relax or sort of bunker down and do some work, there's the opportunity to do either of those things. I mean, it's nicely lit, the music's not too loud, but it's always nice, and you know, it's just a very relaxing atmosphere here.
The idea behind the decor was to get rid of the non-necessary items, parts, and keeping everything structural in place and anything else away. The piano, yes, that was an old idea. Like I would have always liked piano and books to be combined with the coffee and wines. And so when the occasion arose, we decided to put it all together. The books are intended to be read by customers. Basically, I like the simplicity because we just kept everything that was already here original. There is no additions, like for instance the counter is completely reclaimed from the wall, and so are many other parts of the decor of this place. My favorite thing about Greenpoint is that I am close enough to the needs I may have in Manhattan, but far enough that I don't get this crowd. Originally I'm from Potenza, Basilicata, a region of southern Italy, and I came here about 3 years ago. This very neighborhood is actually the first neighborhood I've seen when I came in this country for vacations, which was about 7 years ago. I jumped off the taxi in this area, so must be a destiny, I don't know. The future plans for this place are just to make it complete, which is still not. We need to tweak a few things. And no, just keep it more and more relaxing to customers.
That's it for this episode of Neighborhood Beat, Williamsburg and Greenpoint. I hope these stories inspired you to get up off the couch and check out the neighborhood for yourself. It really is as fun as it looks. For more information on Neighborhood Beat series or to watch past episodes online, visit us on the web at www.brickartsmedia.org/BIT. Thanks for watching. I'm your host, Aaron Watkins. Keep the faith, Brooklyn.
You're watching the BCAT TV network.